We just picked up this Sears Tele-Games Light Sixer, some games, controllers, and an Arcadia Supercharger for $98.44. We're going to clean them, test them, and flip them. Will we make a profit, break even, or go in the hole? Stay tuned to find out in this episode of Flippin' Ain't Easy. Alright guys, so we recently won an online estate sale that had a Sears Tele-Games Light Sixer, a Supercharger, a number of games and controllers with it. And we paid $80 for the lot plus a 15% buyer's premium of $12 and sales tax of $6.44. That means overall we've invested into this lot $98.44. Now let's take a closer look at everything we bought. Star Raiders video touchpad, track and field controller, one set of tennis or sports paddles for the 2600, two driving paddles for the 2600. I think this is interesting here. I don't see very many of them with this Atari logo. They're typically always just driving. So this is interesting. Atari 2600 joystick. This is actually probably the best condition joystick that I've gotten out of any of these auctions or estate sales. It's filthy, yes, but all the paint's still intact around the outside. The rubber boot is in great condition. There's no cuts, gouges, chew marks, anything. Everything seems to work pretty good. So we're going to clean this one up. This one we might actually keep and then get rid of one of the ones that are ours. So, yep, Atari 2600 joystick. Suncom TAC2 joystick for the Atari 2600. Now, these things are supposed to be pretty good. I haven't tried this one yet. Once we get it cleaned up, I'll test it out. I am pretty excited to try it because these are supposed to be, I guess, the better of the joysticks that was released for the 2600. We'll try it out. We've got a couple different options, so we'll check them and see which ones we think are the best. But this has got a very short throw. It's got buttons on either side, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, whatever you may be. The edges are rounded, so you got a little bit more of a comfortable fit if you decide to hold it in your hand. So I'm curious to try this one out. The Suncom TAC2 for the Atari 2600. Atari Touch Me handheld game. Now this it's filthy, but I did notice that our end here is broken off, so we're going to repair this. I purchased a new wire and battery end here for a couple dollars off of Amazon, so once we get that in, we'll fix it, test it out, and then see what we can get out of it. But very interesting name for a game. Now we've got a bunch of Atari 2600 games, starting with Pac-Man, Sword Quest, Indy 500, Double Dunk, Super Baseball, Combat, Dodge 'em, Combat Again, Street Racer, Asteroids, No Escape, Atlantis, Combat, Star Raiders, Missile Command, Combat Again, Kool-Aid Man, Street Racer, Combat Again, Target Fun, another Combat, Video Olympics, Asteroids, 11 Indy 500, Skiing, Combat Again, Circus Atari, Taz, Street Racer, Demons and Diamonds, Basketball, Combat Again, Pong Sports, Breakout, Star Raiders, Asteroids, Surround, Star Raiders, Pole Position 2, Missile Command, The Empire Strikes Back, Home Run, Slot Racers, Home Run Again, Superman, Combat, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Defender, Berserk, and Space Invaders. So we've got a total of 51 games. I think there's a couple in here that brings a few more dollars than the other, so we may separate them after we've cleaned them up. We may separate those ones, sell them by themselves, and then sell everything else as a lot. The Supercharger by Arcadia. This is the most interesting thing, in my opinion, by this whole lot that we bought, just because you do not see these things around. And it also came with a game, Dragon Stomper. So if you're not familiar with this, the way this works is you plug this end into the Atari 2600 as you would a normal cartridge, and then you've got this line out. This would plug into a Walkman or a tape player, and then you're going to put your cassette tape in and you play it just like a game, but it's going to read it from the cassette tape. I think this was a neat idea. There wasn't a ton of these games released. I wish some more came with this lot, but anyhow, we got these two as well within this lot. And last but not least, we've got the Sears Tele-Games Light Sixer. Now this thing's pretty filthy, but overall it's not in too bad a shape. We'll clean it up, maybe paint it a little bit, and see what we can come up with on this one. ET sold on eBay for $18.02. Once you subtract a sales tax of $1.02, transaction fees of $2.69, and the shipping label of $4.81, we made $9.50. Kool-Aid Man sold on eBay for $15.90. Once you subtract the 90 cents for sales tax, $2.41 for transaction fees, and $4.15 for shipping label, we made $8.44. No Escape sold on eBay for $11.83. Once you subtract sales tax of 83 cents, transaction fees of $1.87, shipping label of $6.99, we made $2.14. Tele-Games Cartridge 50 Pong Sports sold on eBay for $26.50. Once you subtract the sales tax of $1.50, transaction fees of $3.81, and the shipping label of $4.06, we made $17.13. The Supercharger and Dragon Stomper sold on eBay for $73.85. Once you subtract the $3.85 for sales tax, $10.09 for transaction fees, and $7.19 for the shipping label, we made $52.72. Taz sold on eBay for $11.77. Once you subtract the sales tax of 77 cents, transaction fees of $1.86, and a shipping label of $4.20, we made $4.94. The remaining games we sold in a lot. We were able to get $54 for them on eBay. Once you subtract $4 for sales tax, $7.46 for transaction fees, and $9.51 for shipping label, we made $33.03. The Atari Touch Me sold on eBay for $35.66. Once you subtract $2.66 for sales tax, $5.02 for transaction fees, and $4.24 for shipping label, we made $23.74. The Track and Field controller sold on eBay for $23.90. Once you subtract 90 cents for sales tax, $3.47 for transaction fees, and $3.92 for a shipping label, we made $15.61. And last but not least, we've got the Sears Tele-Games Light Sixer. This sold on eBay for $105. Once you subtract transaction fees of $14.21 and a shipping label of $22.95, we made $67.84 from this lot. Taking into consideration everything we sold on eBay, we made $9.50 from ET, $8.44 for the Kool-Aid Man, $2.14 for No Escape, $17.13 for Pong Sports, $52.72 for the Supercharger, $4.94 for Taz, $33.03 for the Games lot, $23.74 for the Atari Touch Me, $15.61 for the Track and Field controller, and $67.84 for the Sears Tele-Games Light Sixer. That means that overall on eBay we made $235.09. Once you take into consideration our initial investment on this lot of $98.44, subtracted from the eBay total of $235.09, that brings our overall profit to $136.65, or around $34 an hour if you consider the 4 hours that we spent cleaning and prepping everything to sell on eBay. Alright everyone, you've seen how we did with the Tele-Games Supercharger and all the games and accessories that went with it. Now we did pretty good on this just because of all the items that we got included. And fortunately, after we went through and cleaned it, we were able to get everything working again, which is great. Now all this was actually in pretty decent shape. I did restore the Tele-Games console itself. Had to do a couple things there, but really not much other than cleaning, painting it up, and just making it look nice again. What I would recommend is if you're going to try to do this, try to stay around 40 to 50 bucks for an Atari 2600. The Sears Tele-Games seem to be a little bit more popular. I guess it's just because they're a little bit more rare. But you're going to get anywhere from 70 to 120 bucks out of a 2600, depending on whether it's a light sixer, heavy sixer, Tele-Games, etc. There's a few different versions in there, and they have some different values. Now what I try to do is I always try to include some controllers and an AC adapter so that they've got everything together, and you're going to get more money that way. Also, we had a bunch of games. All the games ended up working, so we were able to sell those. And we had the Touch Me and the Field and Track controllers, so there was a lot of things going on here, but it ended up working out to our advantage. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate it. And until next time, keep gaming.